Hey YouTubers, what we're going to do here is replace a heater core. This is my son's 94 Mustang convertible, and he came home the other day. We checked the oil, it was about 2 quarts down. I said, hey, let's replace your PCV valve, might be clogged. So we did what we thought was an easy fix. Replace the PCV valve, which is right in here. And in the process, my son says, hey Dad, why is the car leaking antifreeze all over? Well, this is in the way, and we had to push it a little bit to put the PCV valve in, and somehow it cracked the heater core. So I went online and looked up the videos, and it's about anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. You got to pull the console out, you got to pull the seats out, drop the steering wheel, and I know there's guys out there who can probably do it in less time, but either way, it's a big nightmare. So what we're going to try and do is cut the firewall here and pop the heater core out and put a new one in. And I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm trying to explain how to do the heater core without taking your dash apart. And I'm about halfway through. I'm going to try and help everybody who's going to take this on how to do it as easily as possible. First thing, the heater core itself is about 6 inches wide, so I chose to make my hole about 7 inches wide. Before I could gain access to it, I had to disconnect a few things. I'll show you what they are. There's a connection here with one bolt in it, and it's right here. And then I moved it across the firewall and put it over here. I disconnected the PCV line hookup and just pushed it up. There was this hookup, and it's 2 bolts, and I got that out of the way and just moved it over here. There was also a vacuum piece here that I disconnected, 2 simple bolts, goes right here, and it gave me better access to everything. And then I measured off my firewall. I measured it 6 inches. I cut here first and then here and bent it up with a hammer. Then I cut it down on both sides and cut across the bottom. As I went, I found I had to dig the hole deeper because the heater core is on an angle, and to get it out properly I had to cut it deeper, and it also is going to aid with installation. The tool I used to cut the hole was a grinding wheel. It's got a diamond blade on it. I think it was about 13 bucks. And then here's the piece that I cut out. And the problem was getting into the plastic box that the heater core is in. I was going to use a Dremel, but I tried it and I could not get the right angle. My neighbor had what's called an oscillating tool. They're very cheap. They're usually used to undercut door jambs in carpentry or other things, but he had it and lent it to me, and I was able to plunge cut basically everything, and it worked very well, and was able to get that box piece out, which here is the plastic box piece. Here's the heater core. The part that broke on mine was the where the lines go in. They cracked when I was doing the PCV valve. So I'm about halfway through. I'm going to put the new heater core in, and then I'm going to use some tar tape and seal that up, maybe a little JB weld, and put a piece over it. So I'll let you know how the final outcome works. Plus, I want to say there were some hiccups in this. I did cut the fuel line while I was doing this, so you definitely want a hose nearby just in case you light the whole car on fire. But I was able to replace it pretty easily. So that was one of the big hiccups, so be careful around that. And I will let you know how it comes out. I'll show you with it put in and let you know any other problems I might have had. Okay. Okay, in my last segment, I think I stated that the hole was 6 inches, but I want to correct that. It's at least 7. I'll put the tape measure up to it. We'll see what I had to do. Yeah, it looks like about 7.5, and then the depth on this side you need because of the angle was approximately 4.5. And so there it is. I have it in there. I'm gonna put the plastic piece back in, most of it, what's left of it, and I'll use a little tar tape or JB weld, I'm not sure, and I do have a pretty significant hole there, so I'm going to tape that with the tar tape and the bottom with the tar tape, and then I'll probably JB weld, like I said, the outer plate on, and again I will show you exactly what I did. Okay. Okay, I used JB weld and a couple of screws and fabricated a piece of sheet metal to put over the heater core. The box I secured inside there with a little bit of sheet metal and some aluminum tape. It's very sticky and I don't believe I have any air leaks. I used a little bit of a muffler rubber bracket that I put in between them just to keep them from ever bending again, and secured that with aluminum tape. I'm gonna do a little sanding afterwards and a little black paint, hook everything up and see if everything works right, and that'll be the last segment. So okay, this is the last segment. The car's running, everything's back in place, the firewall's been painted, the hoses are hooked up, all the connections are back hooked up, everything's running good. There's the fuel line is good, that's not leaking. I painted the firewall and hooked everything up, and so far so good. The snow is just starting in Wisconsin here, so we got it done in the nick of time. For all the purists, I probably wouldn't do it if I had a show car or one I was going to restore and make mint. But for the daily driver, I would definitely make an attempt on it. So thanks for watching.